The very first shoe video I ever did was on a pair of Margiela Gats, officially known as Replica sneakers, way back in 2016 on my main channel, when I was just trying to see if anyone would be interested in shoe reviews. I actually ended up selling that pair just because the colorway wasn't working for me, but I still loved the design, specifically Margiela's take on it. So I have two pairs today, both white, one paint splatter, one plain. Both of them have been on ice in my closet for a long time, and seeing as Gats in white are one of the best spring-summer sneaker options, I thought there was no better time to break them out and put them side by side. Both come in the classic Margiela white box. It's very nice and sturdy with a glossy finish. Inside, you get a dust cover for each shoe. Now, I made fun of these in my old video, and some people did not appreciate that. I think they're meant to be like painter's shoe covers, which is cute, but I mean, practically speaking, I still maintain that these aren't very useful unless you're a medical student who can repurpose them as a surgical cap. Anyway, inside there's no other goodies, no extra laces, just the shoes and a ton of tissue paper. I'm not going to bother giving the story on this design's Bundeswehr origins as if I'm elucidating some eldritch knowledge, because it's well known at this point. While the basic design of the Gats is nothing special in 2023, I think these still look great and are extremely desirable. The proportions and silhouette are both very attractive. It's not too bulky and it's not too slim. It is a sneaker, but there's so much distance between it and something like a modern Nike shoe, which gives it a super classic, timeless look, rather than the technical or athletic feeling that most sneakers give off. They've gone through so many cycles of hype. I remember back in 2014, 2012, these were as hot as the tabby stuff has been for the past 2 years, but I think at this point the design and people's perception of it has kind of settled enough that we can now just appreciate it as a classic, a really nice staple piece, rather than something that's in or out of style at the moment. With this design being so ubiquitous, you have your choice of vendors, so why spend the premium on Margiela's take instead of Adidas or some random #menswear brand advertising on Instagram? Well, I think these are very well-made shoes, and some of the extra bits you get with Margiela really add up to make a more visually appealing shoe as well. Both of these pairs feel very tightly constructed and dense, with clean stitching. The uppers have differences though, so I'll start with the plain pair. On these, you get a grained calfskin, and it's really nice. It's not the most supple leather I've ever felt on a low-top sneaker, but it's striking a good balance between luxury and durability, feeling very reassuring in hand. Based on my previous experience and what I've seen from others, this is an upper that is going to last for a long time when given any reasonable amount of care. Surplus Gats, as well as many other vendors' versions, tend to only have suede on the toe box panel, and that suede is often quite flat looking. The Margielas have suede on the eyelet, middle, and heel panels, and that suede is much thicker, much more well-defined than what I see on other takes of this design. Having the extra and better suede paneling does a lot for these shoes in my opinion, especially in more plain colors like white. It gives the shoe more depth, more definition, and some material contrast. Along with the natural cotton laces, it really sets the Margiela apart from the pack, even from a distance, giving them a more refined, substantial look. It's actually part of the reason why I got rid of my original painted pair. Those had no suede paneling, and especially in black, the upper just didn't have enough breaking it up for me. Shifting over to this new pair of paint splatters, there is one suede panel on the toe box, similar to what you'll see on the real Surplus Gats, as I mentioned. The entire upper here is also different from the unpainted pair, being made of nubuck, which is basically a sanding treatment, giving the leather a smooth, soft, and uniform look throughout. I think the reason for both of these changes is simply to facilitate the adhesion of the paint splatter to the upper. Just in case anyone is not aware, the splatter is not like a graphic print effect, it is literally just paint thrown on the shoe, and I don't imagine the more glossy leather of the plain pair would take it well. I remember back around 2014 when Galliano took over, the splatter pattern was very aggressive, like large candle wax-esque drops. Then shortly after, it became the more light dotting that was on my 2016 pair. I think the big splatters were a bit much, and I definitely wasn't in love with the light dusting on my old pair, but I think what they're doing at the moment is just about perfect. It is covering about half of the shoe, and the size and style of the splatters are a perfect middle ground, sort of a classic Jackson Pollock splattering. This specific model also has a good mix of colors, just enough to look kind of random. To me, this is like the idealized version of the paint splatter. Both uppers sit on identical gum soles, which is one of the most attractive parts of this design if you ask me. Not a big blocky platform like an Air Force One, just a very svelte look with some detail on the sole, which is inherent to the GAT design. As is the case with almost all of the house's output, the Margiela branding is very subtle on this shoe. Both tongues feature the signature Margiela numbers, suede on the plain pair, matching nubuck on the splatters, with a circled 22, which signifies the shoe collection. The heel tabs also have the stitch, which is a branding element featured on the vast majority of Margiela items. The removable insoles also have some branding, as well as the cloth replica tag that reveals the shoe's origins, similar to what you find on the bottles from the Replica perfume line. The paint splatter is iconic to the house. It takes these from a nice basic to something of a statement piece, and leaves no room for them to be mistaken for anything other than Margiela. I'm not well educated on nubuck, but in hand it feels like it will be more susceptible to stains, and even if it is water resistant, you will still want to keep these out of harm's way in light of the paint splatter, and you basically can't clean them for the same reason. I think they are going to crease more as well. Honestly, just trying them on a few times, I could already see it. Personally, having both of these in hand, if I had to choose one, I would go with the plain pair every time. I think the normal grained leather upper is just nicer and will age better, and the extra suede paneling adds a lot to the shoe for me, as I mentioned. There's also the consideration of price. I got my plain pair for just under $300 from End on a sale. It was a while ago, so I don't know how easy that is to do now, but for that price, I can easily recommend these. When we're talking about all of these luxury and designer products, any notion of value usually just goes right out the window, but this is one of the few items I actually feel is worth the money. You can walk into a Foot Locker and easily spend over $200 on general release made in China Nikes. Now, I'm not suggesting that you replace your athletic shoes with these, but I'd say for $350 or less on sale, you are getting a lot for the money. Made in Italy, calfskin upper, it's a significant and obvious cut above your typical mall brands for far less money than most mainstream designer or luxury brands. Because of that, I would even go as far as to recommend these to non-fashion heads. In fact, my mother has a pair of these because she liked my old ones so much. With the paint splatters, you're going to be paying more, enough to erode any sense of value. The MSRP is typically a $100 to $200 premium, they sell out more quickly and do not see as deep of a discount as the regular pairs, which can widen that gap even further. I think that's a lot to swallow when you're gaining only some paint and getting what could be considered a materially worse shoe. I managed to get mine for $405 on Essence. They weren't even on sale. I think it was some kind of pricing malfunction because that is a crazy price, which is the only reason why I decided to scoop them up. If you already have a big shoe rotation and just want a statement piece, or more importantly, it's what you really want, then by all means go for the paint splatter. But I'd imagine most people spending this much on a sneaker will want to get heavy use out of it, and with the paint splatter, you're just going to have to be cautious with it, which might not be what you want regardless of price. In terms of sizing, I went true to size, just like my original 2016 pair, and they still fit great. A very nice, snug fit. One of the more surprising aspects of this shoe, though, is how comfortable it is. There's nothing special here, it's just a plain leather upper with a rubber sole and a basic insole, but these are super plush on foot, and genuinely feel more comfortable to me than some athletic brand shoes I've had. To me, this is really the big X factor with these, and for a more basic, daily type of shoe, makes it a phenomenal choice. When it comes to styling these, well, it's basically going to fit with almost anything, particularly in the OG white, which is why these have icon status. You can wear them casually with slimmer jeans, heady slip-on, tight-ass jeans, straight-leg jeans, wide pants, dressier pants, and even more plain cargos would probably look great with these. Basically, you're going to wear these like the plain, flattering low-top sneaker that it is, though I will say that some colorways lend themselves to different styling. I'm really into the dark brown black colorway. I think it would look amazing more dressed up. Now, obviously the plain pairs are easier to style, but don't be too thrown off by the paint splatter. It's not as loud as you might think in real life, and while I've spent a lot of this video seemingly disparaging it, I do like them a lot. They're super unique and can bring a bit of edge and pop out on an outfit. Anyway, I don't think anyone really needs me to tell them how to wear Gats in 2023, but I'll just say they look really good with a wide variety of things, and if this is one of your first, more expensive shoes, or it's part of a smaller rotation, it's a very good choice that you'll be able to get a lot of use out of. Since 2016, I've had a ton of shoes, a ton of eras and evolutions of taste, but here I am coming back to these. They're indisputably a classic, they're well made, they're comfortable, and I would even argue they represent good value, at least when on sale. That's all I've got for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.